Shalom. First, I want to say, Call Loyam, Wahawad, La Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahweh Ba'asham, Rahakodash, double unto the elder apostle, every millstone, who rule well and who have taught us this truth. Shalom to you, Akim out there that's doing this work in truth, sincerity. Shalom to you, and shalom also to the few Akwaf that listen and learn and believe in Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh as well. This is a video I had just through the spirit, I was gonna throw it up because of the headlines in the MSM all across the globe. Even though it's a campaign of misinformation over here in the U.S., how they report on it, but still there are heightened tensions between Russia and NATO, which NATO is led by the so-called United States of America, which is Babylon in the scriptures. And this Ukrainian situation has caused, a lot of military posturing. All right, they've been posturing militarily, as far as U.S. and NATO and Russia. I think they assembled about 100,000 troops to go down towards the border, south to the border with Ukraine, prepare for a NATO-led overthrow, which Russia called the Red Line, and was what has caused an uproar has been the ongoing expansion of the NATO alliance. And so how this played a part of prophecy is because with all these tensions, all this build up, it all leads to the third woe, which is spoken about in the scriptures. And this World War III, all right, is what the third woe means, and it's going to happen. It's going to happen real soon. That's what this whole Russia versus NATO, all right, Russia versus U.S. and NATO. This is what this whole, heightened tensions is all about. All this aggression against Russia, prepared to defend itself, at all costs. All this is leading up to that World War III, right? Because Russia and the U.S. play a major part. Also, the other countries that are involved. All right, you had it where the German president, I believe it was the German president or the German chancellor, spoke out against NATO bringing over troops and weaponry to Ukraine, and basically Germany pulled out. So this World War III is going to happen because Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, all right, is the one, all right, the Most High is the one that's in control, and he wants this war to take place. And so this is the reason why we're observing, all right, pretty much the whole situation, because we know that, it's the year of the Most High's vengeance that's going to be upon, all right, this place called Babylon, which is so-called America. And pretty much, let's get into it, man. I got an article I pulled up from rtnews.com, and pretty much this is all what's going on as I speak. A lot of posturing is going on as I speak. All right, and so let's get into it. This is from RTnews.com. It says legislators call for a showdown with Russia at sea. Navy demonstrations could make Putin back down in Ukraine, lawmakers claimed. And this is all just Russian hysteria, but like I said, it's all done by the will of the Lord because, excuse me, like I said, it's going to turn out to be a lead up to this World War III. All right. So it says American sailors should be prepared to take on Russia and show their strength as the country goes head to head with Moscow amid fears of a possible invasion of Ukraine. Two U.S. legislators have demanded, which it's a lot of misinformation that comes from Washington. You know, it says Senator Richard Blumenthal and Representative Joe Courtney, both Democrats from Connecticut, said that the Navy will be or play a major role in any future confrontation with Russia. The pair were seeking as part of an experience on Monday at a virtual event hosted by General Dynamics Electric Boat, the largest submarine builder in the country. Now, what you have is these naval fleets have been going into the I think it's the Black Sea is called, and pretty much they're trying to enclose and surround Russia. And Russia is preparing a major defensive uh, posturing because they have the S-400s they rolled out. They didn't roll out the old ones, which are capable to work as well. The S-300s, S-200s, S-100s. They put out the newest and latest because they're not playing games. And they ready to show the world what they've been working on because they remember the collapse of the Soviet Union. They have a disdain in their hearts, which are their minds, for what happened to cause the collapse of the Soviet Union. It says Russian President Vladimir Putin will test us in every single place that he can, Blumenthal said. He's doing it right now in Ukraine. He wants to restore the hegemony over countries that formerly were a part of the Soviet Union, bring back Ukraine into Mother Russia, conduct a hybrid war of military actions, cyber attack, and misinformation. And part of his overall strategy is to bolster undersea warfare and thereby push the United States, try to divide allies and create instability, which is all propaganda, by the way. All right, you know, basically, U.S. and NATO have done what Russia done to the U.S. Uh, if you know anything about the Cuban Missile Crisis, where Russia had placed missiles in Cuba, all right, that's how bold. That's how bold Russia or the Soviet Union, I should say, was. They was bold enough to put those missiles into Cuba, which is right off the coast or shore. Not far at all. Within miles, it could have been catastrophic if those missiles had been released because it was minutes within the mainland of America. And so pretty much the U.S. along with NATO have expanded up into Russia's borders or doorsteps. All right, and this is the reason for. This is the reason for, um, you know, uh, Russia or Russian President Vladimir Putin responding the way they're responding. All right, it says Blumenthal said that he agreed with President Joe Biden that the U.S. should not send soldiers to fight in Ukraine, but instead insisted that increasing NATO capabilities. Increasing NATO capabilities in the region will be an important part of showing strength around the world in other areas where we go head to head with the Russians. So they're looking to have an all-out scale war, as it seems, with Russia. No, before I go there, I had a precept already queued up. Let's go to Isaiah 13. All right. Isaiah 13:4, it says, the noise of a multitude in the mountains, and like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. See, what do you think is going on right now? There's a whole gathering of military powers, all right, across the globe, and whether they're part of one alliance or another, they're still getting together, uh, preparing for war. All right, they're preparing for war because we're living in a time of war, all right, and great judgments, especially for this place, so-called America, which is Babylon in the scriptures. Matter of fact, this chapter is talking about Babylon. Okay, so it says the noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. Yahweh, Marshal Yahushua of hosts, mustered the host of the battle. So that's who's mustering these armies, all right, to the battle. All right, it's the Most High, all right, which this battle I'm speaking about is talking about Armageddon, all right, which is found in Revelation, the 16th chapter and the 16th verse. And it reads, and he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon, which in the Hebrew, I'm going to go to it. I got it queued up. Slack, Revelation chapter 16 and verse 16. Let's go to it on the blue letter, see what we get. Here we go. It's really, this all should be one word. And when you look at the Hebrew, it says root word etymology of Hebrew origin. The first word there is har. It means mountain or hill. Though hill is a small version of a mountain, a smaller mountain rather. So it simply means mountain. And then if you look to the right, it says and. It has another Hebrew word there. That's Magad one. All right, Magad one, which means of troops. All right, troops or host, which means armies. All right, it says Hamagad one is how you pronounce it. All right, because it's all should be one word. Hamagad one. All right, which means a mountain. All right, of troops or mountain of armies. Okay, so let's go from there back to the KJV app. All right, we'll go from there and go to the matter of fact, stay there. We'll go to the 11th chapter because, like I said, it's the Third World War that we're getting ready to witness. All right, World War III is how you pronounce it, or how people pronounce it, I should say. Revelation chapter 11, verse 14, it reads, "The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly." Yeah, that means destruction. You had the first woe, World War One. You had the second woe, which represents World War Two. You know, the third woe that cometh quickly, which we are witnessing before our very eyes, all right, is that third world's war. All right, that third world war, where the Heavenly Father is going to gather. He's going to gather these armies, all right, from across the earth together to this one great battle, all right, which is, like I said again, World War III. Okay, so that's what's going on. Let's go. In fact, what was that? I believe it's Jeremiah. Let's go to Jeremiah. It speaks about that. It speaks about that your father prepared Babylon to destruction. All right. Right to the point. Kind of. Jeremiah 51:6. It says, "Flee out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is a time of Yahweh's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense." Yeah, because the Heavenly Father is getting ready to pay back this place for all the blasphemies and push throughout the earth. All right, the blood of His chosen, all right, which is us, so-called Negroes, us so-called Latinos, us so-called Native Americans. All right, we're collectively uh, making up the 12 tribes of Israel. All right, that's who we are from your respective tribes. All right, the wickedness of this place, all the wine, which represents the vain philosophies, all right, that is pushed throughout this earth. All right, it says, verse 7, Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Right, and even your allies are mad at you. Okay, you're your allies. Bear me 1 second. You know, your allies are turning on you. Okay, like I said, Germany is against, bringing weapons and troops to Ukraine. All right, they say that it should be done diplomatically. All right, and solved in a civil manner between the Ukrainians. All right, which have their own sovereign right to choose whatever, but the U.S. and NATO is against it. All right, overall, because they want to overthrow Ukraine, like they did in 2014 with the coup, and ultimately take over Ukraine, so they'll be right there at Russia. Okay, and Russia's against it. You gotta think about it. If your enemies came right to your doorsteps, what are you going to do? How are you going to respond? All right, and then with Russia, playing a major role in the world, as far as trying to stabilize the world um, from this so-called world terror that the U.S. and NATO have been doing for the last 20 plus years, man. You have tore up, all right, the Middle East, excuse me, in many countries, man. Under all these false pretenses, excuse me, under all these false pretenses, it says, Babylon had been the golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Verse 8, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her take balm for her pain, if so be she may be healed. All right, Babylon will be destroyed, man. All right, Babylon will be destroyed with Russia spearhead the battle. All right, according to Scripture. All right, that's found in the book of Revelation, the 17th chapter. All right, it speaks about Gog, and then the 10 horns, which are the EU. All right, so those EU nations. All right, you have the EU nations that are a part of NATO. They play a critical role in this whole situation. All right, with this World War III. All right, playing major roles, and they're gonna ultimately turn on her. All right. Matter of fact, that's what it says in Obadiah. Let's go to Obadiah. I think it's verse 7. Obadiah verse 7. It says, "All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border." Yeah, the confederacy means that were in league or in agreement with, all right, with Babylon, with Esau, man. Which are these European countries, man, the European nations, man. All right, it says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border, Slakia. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee, and it prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Because the same countries that support the U.S. and a part of NATO, right, and they receive those benefits from being obedient to so-called America, all right, if you will, they get those goodies, man. They get this, the tax breaks from using the U.S. dollar. They get the big business involving trade, commerce, and all that from all these uh, big companies that are within, the U.S. Involved in many and which how you say it, business ventures across the globe. All right, even complicit in overthrowing these countries to steal resources, man. You know, they get a cut of that too. But now it's to the point where they're even tired of you. Your own allies are tired of you because what you're doing is causing them to what's the word I'm looking for? It's causing them to suffer as well. Because um, the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, all right, which comes from Russia, is a major part of supplying Russia natural gas. All right, it supplies a lot of European countries, and they've been threatening to cut it off. And Germany is against them cutting it off. Matter of fact, with the road thing, yeah, but Germany is against stopping the Nord Stream 2 pipeline because they already have an energy crisis or a gas crisis over there, and they're having trouble heating their homes. All right, let's go to the book of oh yeah, cut. Slocky. I had a little brain fart. Isaiah 62 in verse 6. It says, I have set watchmen upon thy walls in Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace day nor night. Ye that make mention of Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua, keep not silence. And that's something that we're doing. All right, we're watching out, all right, for the danger and evil that is approaching, because this place you call Babylon not only is going to be destroyed, but there are plagues, all right, that's going to take hold of this place leading up to the destruction. Like right now, we're experiencing inflation. All right, we're experiencing inflation, which is causing the uproar. All right, job loss. You got the cargo shipping situation. All right, with this whole blockage of goods. The goods are not being transported or released from those ships to these storehouses, and from the storehouses to the shelves of these market place stores and stuff. Excuse me. So there are a lot of things going on. All right. It says, verse 7, give him no rest till he establish and till he make Jerusalem a praise the earth again. All right. And we're not a praise the earth right now. We're the last bottom nation right now in the earth. All right. But the point is, we're watching, all right, and warning our people of the coming judgments. All right, and you should be taking heed. All right, because this place is getting ready to go out very bitterly. All right, very bitterly. Let's go to Revelation 18. Revelation 18 and 3. This is talking about Babylon the Great, which is America. Okay, keep that in mind. Revelation 18 and 3. It says, "For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies." You know, that's what happened. You know, especially them NATO and EU nations. Okay, they have waxed rich. You know, verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven, excuse me, saying, come out of her, slacking, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive none of her plagues. Because, like I said, we're living in a time where these plagues are about to take this place down. All right, the economy collapsing, the famine, all right, it's increasing. Literally, shelves in the stores are appearing empty, man. In a lot of places, man, a lot of major cities, man. Those things you was once were going to buy that was easily accessible are not. Okay, this place is getting ready to be judged, and all you Israelites out there that don't believe and trust in Yahweh Bashim Shai, you're gonna be taken by, or you're taken in. I'm sorry, you're gonna be taken in its destruction, man. When the Lord judge this place, man. That's why we warn you, man, because the Heavenly Father is there to repay this place. Verse 5, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Heavenly Father have remembered her iniquities. So the Heavenly Father is getting ready to award America, which is Babylon the Great. All right, going to reward her with destruction because of the iniquities and sins of this place, man. That's a simple kingdom, okay? That's why we're watching and warning you, so that you may turn back unto Yahweh Bashim Shai, and Lord willing you be delivered. But we know that only a remnant is going to return. All right, in total, 1/3 start with the elect of that 1/3. All right, and that's what's going on. All right, let's go from there to Jeremiah 50. And about the 24th verse, it says, I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou was not aware. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Shai. So the Lord has laid a snare for you. All right. In this place, strive continually, day by day, man, against, all right, the Most High, all right, and the Most High's law, all right. Verse 25, because you got to think about it. You know, Esau is against the Heavenly Father's law. If he was not so, he wouldn't have his own laws that he created himself. Verse 25, it says, Yahweh hath opened his armory and hath brought forth the weapons of his indignation. For this is the work of the Lord power of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans. Yeah, man, and this is ready to happen. Those missiles that being sent and shipped, moved, and postured up to be shot off into the ends of the earth, that's the Most High's armory. Those are the weapons of his indignation. In fact, let's get that. it's like weapons. Spell it right. It's like weapons. Let's get that real quick. Give me 1 second. Guys, precept. Okay, Isaiah 13:5. It says, "They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even Yahweh, and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land." Destroy one whole land, the land of America. All right, it's not talking about the old ancient Babylonian land mass, which is modern day Iraq today. It's talking about America. All right, as it's spoken about in Psalms chapter 137. It says, "O daughter of Babylon, ought to be destroyed." And it mentions Edom. So where's Esau? What place of confusion? Because the word Babylon means confusion. What place of confusion that Esau have set up, or it is ruled by Edom? Period. That's America, man. All right. Verse 6: "How ye, for the day of Yahweh is at hand; it shall come as a destruction from the Almighty." And this is what's getting ready to happen, man. All right, the day of the Lord is at hand. All right, so this is what we're witnessing. This is what we're watching unfold before our very eyes. All right, as prophesied in the Holy Scriptures, all right, the King James 16:11 Bible, which I'm reading out of. All right, this is Revelation 1:3, and I'm gonna close. It says, "Blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand." Yes, the time is at hand, because the Heavenly Father is ready to destroy Babylon and destroy Esau's rulership in general, or as a whole. Esau's power structure is getting ready to be taken away from him and thrown down. And then the kingdom of heaven is getting ready to be ushered in. Okay. So, Lord willing, with that, I want to say, Lord willing, you're edified in the spirit. Until next time, I want to say shalom.